Good morning. So originally I was going to do a video on like how I make my money, buying and selling and trading, and how to kind of get started in it. But instead, I'm going to kind of do y'all a video on the budget F350. I'm going to run y'all in through the expenses of it, how much I have in it, and how you too, with a little free capital, can have a very, very inexpensive one-ton truck. For a lot of guys getting into cars, y'all know having a pickup truck is important. Or even a van. Vans are pretty good too. If you mainly deal with like JDM cars or like cars, you don't need a 3/4 ton. You don't need a 1 ton. A 1/2 ton truck and a U-Haul trailer will get you by just fine. A 4x6 trailer will get you by just fine. But if you're into things like Jeeps, or if you're into pickup trucks and all of that, you need a 3/4 ton to a 1 ton. Otherwise, good luck. So, what we're going to talk about is the red cab and chassis crane truck. In some of the videos, you've seen it. It had a big red service bed. It had a 6,000 pound Stellar crane on it, or IMT, and all of that. So I'm going to take y'all through it from start to finish. It is a 2007 Ford F350 cab and chassis. Cab and chassis part, we'll get on that part later. I was on an auction site. It is a dual fuel truck. It did not run well. It ran like shit. So I got it for $6,000. Bid it $6,000. I probably could have drove it home, but not really. Went back down there. I hauled it back with my 1 ton. If you be careful how much something weighs if you're hauling it back far distances. So I paid $6,000 for it. I had to go to the far side of Alabama. It cost me about $200 in diesel to go get it. I had a blowout on the way back. That cost me about $800 with the tires and stuff to get that back on the road. So going down there, getting it, and coming back was about $7,000. And then I spent about another $500 in Amazon parts, plugs or coils, wire or plugs, a few fuel sensors, stuff like that. $7,500 in it. And then I sold the service bed off of it to a fellow for $6,000. I had to have the truck running to get it sold because I had to drive it to the guy's house and we had to take it off. It took us about 8 hours to get that bed off. So now we're back down to $1,500. When I was over there, well, let's step back. It had like a bad bumper and some other stuff. So after that, I went to Arkansas or Alabama, and I bought a ranch hand bumper, front and rear bumper for $400. It's about 200 miles each way. I did it on a work night. Problem is, they're for a 6.4 truck. Paid $400 for them. About 6 hours of driving, all that other crap. Came back, found out they wouldn't fit. I traded the rear bumper to a fella for the seats that are in it and the running boards. It had bad seats, so it's got the seats, so that's kind of a wash for free. I traded the other ranch hand for some wheels. Then I sold those wheels for $1,000. We're not going to count that in because that's kind of part of my other business. So we're going to say that we had $1,500 in it with the seats and all that. I spent another $500 on a really crappy dually bed. I'll explain why we're doing a dually bed in a little bit. It goes along with the cab and chassis thing. So we're at $2,000. Then I spent, I think, $800 on the ranch hand that's on it and the winch. That's not essential for you. I like having a winch bumper on a truck because it allows you to use non-winch trailers to haul stuff. So that's $2,800 that were in it. And then I've got probably another $250 in junkyard parts and stuff like that. So we've got $300 to $3,400 in this truck right now. A lot of time. And, that's nothing to scoff at. I understand a lot of you guys, like, for a truck you just use for hauling, that's a lot of money. So, but it's a 1 ton, 4x4, 6-speed, V10 truck. Got 250,000 miles on it, runs and drives and tows. Great. And y'all know how much 1 tons cost. So I'm going to go out here and we're going to kind of walk you across it, show you some of the stuff we've done. And I'm going to explain why we're doing it the way we're doing it. So let's go. All right. So we're going to start at the back. This receiver hitch is a cabin chassis truck. They usually don't have receivers. I found this in a junkyard. I had to scour for a couple hours. Found it for $50. We're going to take it, and obviously we're staging it to drill and tap and all that. The cabin chassis used these Ford factory style lights. Because I went with a dually bed, I went to a junkyard and I cut the harness off for these tail lights. I just popped the tail light out, cut the wiring harness. The colors actually matched. Super simple. The cabin chassis had the upfitter spot for the 7-pin. I got that tied in. The gooseneck plate right here. Y'all can build one. Those are $30 worth of D-rings, a cheap ball that I found, and a piece of 1-inch plate. Cut and trimmed, and I just mounted it to the frame. Now, for the bed, obviously this is an 84 cabin chassis. And you're wondering why I have this ugly dually bed with this platform on it. Seems like a lot of work, right? It's because on a cabin chassis truck, even though this is an F350, it's a 1-ton truck, as an incomplete cabin chassis vehicle, insurance listed as a commercial vehicle. Insurance on this truck right now is like $250, $300 a month, and I have a clean record because it's commercial. But now we're going to see if Geico honors this. They said if I can put a standard pickup truck bed on this, send them pictures, that they will reclassify it and insure it as just a standard 1-ton dually. That's why I'm going through this effort. And the bed is not load bearing because mostly it's being used to tow. So you can see what I've done, and I don't know how secure and how strong this is going to be in the long run for beating it up. We took and we trimmed it out to where the runners of it sit on it. Those are the factory mounts. I'll show you how I'm adjusting that later. You can see I just have everything kind of laying on the frame, good and even. And then we took some angle iron, we drilled it. Those are 1/2-inch 13 bolts. The bed bolts, we've just kind of built this little platform here, and this is not really supporting weight. This is really just kind of keeping it straight. The bed's supporting the downward weight. To fill in the gap, I'm going to mount toolboxes on the side. This truck's obviously dual fuel, so it has a propane tank. If I didn't have a propane tank, I would go buy me some 30-inch toolboxes, slide that back. I've got like 28 inches right here. It might be 30. And I would just put my toolboxes there for all my hauling equipment and stuff. One thing is, because it's a dual fuel, I need a remote fuel for the propane. Cabin chassis trucks, obviously the fuel filter's back here, so I'm going to kind of do what they did on the older Fords, and I'm going to take this, and since the bed's already busted, I'm going to install my filler right here. And that's kind of converting the cabin chassis over to a dually. Does it look great? No. Is it a show truck? No. But for a budget backup truck, it does pretty good. The F350 uses the standard, 8x200 setup. Did a cat delete. Yeah. Then this is our budget. It's not a real ranch hand, but it was $800 for it, and it included this winch plate. If I was on a bigger budget, I wouldn't have gone with the ranch hand. I would have just gone and built me a winch plate. Some good bolts and stuff. You can build that pretty simply. And if I was y'all, what I would do is I would actually mount my winch in the bed of the truck. So that way I can go rent a U-Haul trailer and just throw my line out the back, tie it into the frame, throw your line out the back and winch stuff up onto it. I might do that with this, but both of my goosenecks have it. Running boards, seats, all of that. So this is a $3,000 truck. It should insure as a regular pickup. It is a cabin chassis. And I guess mainly what I'm kind of showing y'all on this, if y'all have any questions on it, y'all want to see anything cool about it, let me know. But if you're kind of getting into the 4x4 world and you need a good 1 ton, they're out there. It's just a little bit of extra work to make it happen.